Your government report card is being written right now, and you may not even know it. One bad rating can alter your ability to win a contract, even if you have the lowest price or you are the best value. In this video, I'm going to go over this rating system, how to leverage it, and to make sure you are not hurt by any potential negative ratings. Contractor Performance Assessment Reporting System, also known as CPARS. That is the platform that the federal government uses to evaluate you. The first thing I encourage you to do, immediately following a contract award, you want to schedule a kickoff call. During your kickoff call, ask your point of contact, do you plan on issuing a CPAR? If you do, when do you anticipate doing so? If they say, no, this contract doesn't require it, because not every single federal contract, regardless of the size, requires a CPAR. And even if it does require, it doesn't mean that somebody's going to actually evaluate it. So if they say, no, we're not going to issue one, what you want to do is ask if they will complete a generic past performance questionnaire for you. The purpose of the CPAR system is for different agencies to be able to quickly learn about you. Think of Yelp, Google reviews. That is exactly what the CPAR system is. You can easily get a generic past performance questionnaire using AI, or just pull one from an existing opportunity that's available on Sam.Gov. What you're going to then want to do is anytime you are responding to different opportunities and they ask you for some type of evidence of your performance, you can easily include that example, as well as you can use that point of contact to complete their specific past performance questionnaire. At the end of the day, the goal is to gather some type of proof of your performance, evidence, a review, a testimonial, and the government does so through past performance questionnaires and CPARS. Now, during this same kickoff, if they say, yeah, we're definitely going to do a CPAR, you want to find out when are they going to do it, who is going to actually write the CPAR. Chances are the person or individuals involved are very busy. They have a lot going on. In addition to handling your contract, there could be other things that they're involved in. I recently came across a post of a woman who was responsible for writing CPARs, and she said there were way more CPARs for her to work on than there were people to work on them. And nobody ever pushed back on her reviews. And a suggestion that I have, because a person like her, let's just call her Kelly, is really busy. So the suggestion is, once you find out when they anticipate issuing the CPAR, you simply ask during the kickoff, is it okay if I kind of give you a draft that you can use in the CPAR? Chances are they're going to say, yeah, because you're making their life easier. You want to think about that Kelly type, that woman, the gentleman. It could be Kelly with an I, Kelly with a Y. We know. You're wanting to think about that government employee who is really busy and is looking for ways to cut down on their time. At the same time, you want to highlight what you have done for them. Of course, within certain boundaries. You're not here to lie. You are here to provide as much information as possible so that they can accurately do your rating. As far as what does this rating involve and who is the rating for? It is for the prime contractor. That is why it's important to discuss this during your kickoff call. The company who was issued the contract, your name is on the contract, you are the firm who will be evaluated if they provide a CPAR. As far as the areas that they review, let's go into it. In the actual CPAR, they include your contract number, your contract value, the dates, their point of contact information. This information, once it's provided to you, you in turn will have 60 days to review it. They also include the title of the work and an executive summary known as kind of like contract effort description. They provide an overview, and this is the information that you can give them, because there are times where we were issued a contract, let's say for emerging leader training, but in reality, the training that we gave them was more around team building. So we want to make sure that the summary accurately describes what you did. This is vital. You want to make sure that summary connects to their larger goals, mission, vision, or any type of requirements or laws so that anyone reviewing it can take a step back and say, oh, wow, that's quite amazing. This body of work clearly is important because it's connected to these things, opposed to, oh, well, they just needed a wall painted. The more information, the better. The CPAR also includes any subcontracting. Since I've been in this space since 2007, I have not indicated any information around subcontractors in a CPAR. As a subcontractor, when I first started out, we did receive an evaluation as a subcontractor through a prime contract that a very large business had. The CPAR also includes evaluation information. Ratings that they use are satisfactory, very good, exceptional, and often many of the areas may not apply. Some of the areas that they look at include quality. I'm reviewing one of my old CPARs here. Schedule, cost control, management, small business subcontracting, regulatory compliance, and other areas. They also have variance as an element, as well as assessing official comments. This is where your pre-written information significantly helps them, because there is a chance, which happened with one of our contracts with the USDA, the individual who wrote our CPAR had nothing to do with the execution of our work. The review was really nice. It was a very strong CPAR, a lot of exceptionals, very good, but she didn't have any connection to that work. So as far as what that looks like, they're wanting to know more about the quality. So in here, it's KPC has provided very good quality. And then they go into detail. The schedule, are you on schedule? Were you behind? Were you early? Cost control, perhaps you saved them money. Perhaps you were able to do things for them that they had no idea that you could do with that budget. Management, how well did you manage your people? Did you manage time? And they have, for instance, in here, KPC has exhibited exceptional management performance during this reporting period. As you can tell, this is about a 4-page document that I printed. Some may be shorter, some may be longer. At the end of the day, you want to make sure you capture all of the vital information. So then if somebody else reviews this, let's say you bid on something with the Air Force and they go to look at your CPAR, are they going to be underwhelmed? Are they going to be disappointed and wonder, how are we going to award them a contract? Or are they going to say, oh my gosh, this is great. They're exceptional. They deliver on time. They didn't have any problems. The risk is lower. In the same way, when you look at a Yelp review of a restaurant you've never heard of, but it has 4.5 stars. Okay, I'll give it a try. Why not? Because it's lowered the risk. And that is what a CPAR is all about. Now, let's say, for instance, you get a CPAR, you've gone through the steps that I've described, and maybe you're taken aback. You're clutching your pearls thinking, man, this is a little inaccurate. I don't really agree with this. You have 60 days to counter. That's why it is very vital that through the period of performance with your contract, that you stay in contact with your point of contact so that every step of the way you have an idea of what they think about you, so that you don't get one of these and you're left wondering what happened. And even if you decide to write something for them, it doesn't mean that they're going to use it. You're hoping that they use it, but you also have to make sure that your performance aligns with what you have given them. The goal is for you to shine, for someone to review your CPAR and think, oh my gosh, amazing. I have no problem awarding this contract. But that also requires you to follow through and to do exactly as you stated, if not even more, within scope, of course, in your proposal. I have a bonus strategy for you. Often in various federal contract solicitations, they may require a past performance questionnaire. You can ask them during the Q&A period, in lieu of a past performance questionnaire, may I provide a CPAR? I have found more often than not, the answer is yes. This is your golden ticket. This not only shows that you have past performance and that you know how to win a contract and execute it and do it again, but that you are trustworthy. They don't have to worry about you. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget, everything is possible. Until next time, take care.